YNW Melly is in a world of trouble, and if I'm him, I'm going to bed tonight frightened and cold sweat. Him and his co-defendant, YNW Bortland, they've been fighting this double homicide case of Melly's two best friends for the last 4 years. They've been lockstep, they've been on the same page, they've been locked in, and they've held it down through the first trial. But it looks like the co-defendant done had enough, because he just took a plea deal. And at court today, because it was all recorded, some things were said in court today that if I'm YNW Melly, I won't be able to get any sleep tonight.
Off the top at 6, we begin with a stunning development in the double murder trial of YNW Melly.
After days of deliberations, the jury was deadlocked, leading the judge to declare a mistrial. And Local 10's Joseph Ojo was at the courthouse in Fort Lauderdale with reaction. And what happens next?
And decisions ending after 3 days, with the jury not able to come up with a unanimous decision to decide the fate of YNW Melly.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words,
I'm going to just declare a mistrial.
After considering all the facts, jurors in YNW Melly's double murder trial unable to come up with a unanimous decision Saturday. On Friday, they asked for cell phone records and told the judge they were deadlocked. Melly's defense team thanking the jury for their efforts throughout the trial, but adding they were expecting a different result.
We are somewhat disappointed that Melly is not walking out the door with us.
Melly, whose real name is Jamel Demmons, is accused of murdering Christopher Thomas Jr. and Anthony Williams in October of 2018. Surveillance video shows the group leaving a Fort Lauderdale recording studio that night, and prosecutors say Melly shot and killed Williams and Thomas soon after.
Jamel Demmons was sitting in the back seat of that Jeep, and he was the one that fired the fatal shots that killed Christopher Thomas and Anthony Williams. Investigators
believe Melly and another friend then drove the car to a secluded part of Miramar, where they are said to have staged a drive-by shooting to use as a cover story. But Melly's defense team has maintained there are major holes in the state's case, even bringing their own witness who said Melly learned about the murders at the same time as the rest of their friend group.
There's a lack of evidence, there is a conflict in the evidence, and the evidence itself and the investigation itself stinks.
And the jury did have a chance to decide on a lesser charge. This case will be retrialed, so we will keep you updated. We're here in Fort Lauderdale. I'm Joseph Ojo.
The first trial ended in a hung jury, but it was a mistrial by the skin of Melly's teeth, because 11 people, again, not 7-5, not 8-4, not 9-3, 11 people voted to convict him. One person that was described as like sporadic and unhinged voted to send him home. 11 jurors voted to convict, but the case still wasn't like cut and dry, obviously, because it was a hung jury. But there was a couple contributing factors that led to this hung jury.
That is kind of crazy. 11, you gotta say about one nigga.
Ultimately, a mistrial. So several jurors believed the prosecution failed to prove his case beyond a reasonable doubt, particularly due to the lack of a recovered murder weapon and conflicting ballistic evidence. Expert analysis noted that the jury thoroughly debated the evidence but couldn't agree, which is common in cases where proof is not overwhelming. Because the murder weapon was never recovered, they couldn't say for 100% fact which gun Melly used to murder his two friends. And where Melly was sitting, both sides brought experts to testify why Melly had to have been the one who shot and killed the two people in the vehicle. Somebody else testified that if Melly was in the vehicle, he couldn't have been the one who shot them because of where he was angled at and how he would have to curve the gun to shoot. Again, it was ballistics, it was unsure, it was gray area. But I believe one of the things that really led to Melly not being found guilty, I think it was the motive angle. Because you're taking this man to court and trying to convince 12 strangers that he killed his two best friends. He killed two people who he got their names tatted on him. And you have to give a pretty convincing and compelling reason why he would kill his two best friends in the world. The defense effectively argued that YNW Melly had no apparent motive to kill his close friends and crew members, Sack Chaser and Juvie, which raised doubt among jurors. And I believe that's true. I do believe that the lack of a motive helped. In the opening statement for the state attorney instructed the jury that they didn't need a motive to convict, that they just need to believe beyond a reasonable doubt that he did this, and a motive is not important. Once you open up with that, that tells me you don't know what the motive is. They did a good enough job at probably not snitching on themselves or not talking to each other to where you couldn't really figure out exactly what the motive is. Now, they would claim that Sack Chaser and Melly was battling for power, and apparently Sack Chaser was the label owner, so he kind of had rights to the YNW brand and trademark that Melly was trying to get up from under, and that a deal came and Melly wanted a bulk of the deal, but they wanted like a greater percentage of the portion. And they even said, yo, Sack Chaser and Melly had a fight where Sack Chaser knocked out Melly grills in front of his girlfriend, but that's Sack Chaser. That don't explain why Melly would kill Juvie. Did he kill Juvie because Juvie witnessed the murder? Right? Like, again, it was gray area. Now, here's the thing. Because the prosecution didn't have the motive or didn't know certain details about what took place that night, one of these people had to turn for the prosecution to really create
this shit been going on
case.
for I don't know how many years.
Only two people on earth know exactly what took place in that car. YNW Melly and YNW Bortland. So with this Bortland plea deal, the most interesting thing is figuring out, is it required for Bortland to tell? Is Bortland being required? Is Bortland being asked to come and give information of what he knows? Because if Bortland gives a statement that can be used against YNW Melly, where he puts together the missing pieces that only him and Melly know, that would be enough for 100% fact to convict YNW Melly. So YNW Bortland was offered up a plea deal. And I think he was given like a day to decide, but then that got extended to about 5 days. So 5 days later today, he ended up in court, and he ultimately made his decision.
Hit me with an ad song just by some of the decision.
On what he was gonna do with the plea deal.
To tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. You can put your hand down. Please state your full name. How old are you? How far did you go in school? Do you read and understand the English language? Are you presently under the influence of any drugs, medication, or alcohol? Have you ever been treated for a mental illness? Are they giving you any medication in the jail right now? How are you feeling this afternoon? Your head is clear? You understand what's going on this afternoon? You understand you're resolving 2 pending felony cases this afternoon? Mr. Haddad or Mr. Nascimento, have you seen or heard Mr. Henry say or do anything which would call into question in your mind whether he understands what's going on?
Nothing at all.
All right, so Mr. Henry, it's 2 cases, sir. I'm going to go one at a time. In case number 19-1871 CF10A, this is before the agreement you made with the state, before the deal you made with the state. You were charged as follows. Counts 1 and 2 is murder in the first degree with a firearm. Those are capital offenses. The maximum and mandatory penalty is life in Florida State Prison. Counts 3 and 4 are accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree. Those are each first degree felonies. The maximum penalty is 30 years in Florida State Prison. In case number 23-10643 CF10A, you're charged to count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State Prison. Count 2, directing the activities of a criminal gang. That's a first degree felony. Again, punishable up to life in Florida State Prison. Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. Again, as it relates to a first degree murder charge. That is punishable by a maximum penalty of life in Florida State Prison. And count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication device as charged. That's a second degree felony. The maximum penalty is 15 years in Florida State Prison.
1 + 1 is 2. When you try to tell me 1 + 1 is 3, that's when I stop listening. The judge just rattled off 3 life sentences that he was facing. 3. Plus, like, in addition, like 75. 3 lives plus 75. He just rattled that off, bruh. And then at the end of this, the judge will say that he took a plea deal to where he can plead no contest, and he only gets 10 years in prison. He already did 4. That's 6 years he comes out. From 3 life sentences plus 75 to 6 years in prison? How does one achieve a deal that good? I don't want to hear Flacco, he ain't snitching yet. It's yet, he ain't snitching yet. But they have an agreement to where he got to sit down within a week, I believe. And that's when the snitching is going to happen. Let's hear when they get to the end. Listen closely
I
to
mean,
exactly what.
As a civilian, yeah. A street nigga, it's gonna be hard for him to go back. But I mean, honestly, obviously, if he takes that deal, he don't care about going back. You know, going back. That nigga is somewhere y'all not gonna find that man. This is crazy. 3 lives and plus however many years or 6 years. That's crazy.
He has to do
That's
in
a
a
crazy
week.
deal.
So, sir, again, before the agreement you made with the state, before the deal you made with the state, your maximum exposure here was life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State Prison.
No, fuck 3. He gave that nigga 5 lives in prison. Plus 75 years.
Sir, do you understand all the pending charges and the maximum possible penalties involved? And it's my understanding that you want to resolve both cases today. Is that correct? Yes. And that resolution is an agreement you've reached with the state, the terms of which are as follows. Number 1, in the 19 case, you're going to plead no contest to both counts of accessory after the fact. In the 23 case, you're going to plead no contest to all 4 counts as charged. In exchange for that, the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree murder counts. All right, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir.
Juggling multiple client sites? Supercharge your productivity.
What's happening with that?
That would be no problem.
So he's only going to plead to the tampering with a witness in a capital felony, conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device?
Just the tampering and the unlawful use.
Just count 1 and count 7.
Correct.
State, you're going to null process count 2 and count 5.
Correct, Your Honor.
As it relates only to Mr. Henry.
Correct.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, what it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. In exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation. In the unlawful use of a two-way communication device, that's a second-degree felony. The maximum exposure.
It's a third degree, Your Honor.
It's a second as charged, I believe. It's a third, except as it relates to a capital case. But I'm happy to look it up.
That's the third. That's what we discussed. So.
Well, what did you want the negotiated sentence to be for that?
That was just going to be the maximum of the time served.
5 years? Is that what you want me to do?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so, sir, as to that count, it's going to be adjudication in 5 years in Florida State Prison. So the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count, those come with 6 years of reporting probation after the Department of Corrections sentence. I'll give you credit for all the time that you've served in both cases. All of those counts will run concurrently. All those sentences will run concurrently. All counts in all cases, that is at the same time with each other. I'm going to have to impose mandatory court costs. I'm going to order restitution payable to Terry Bagley and payable to Ashley Phillips and reservists to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of that restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back that restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not agree on the amount, I will conduct a restitution hearing. Sir, lastly, and I want to make it very clear on the record, and it's unrelated to this negotiated change of plea, I guess at some point after the fact, the state wants to take a proffer from you or have a discussion with you, ask you some questions about whatever that may be. What I want you to understand, sir, is I guess that's part of this negotiated resolution, but your answers to any of those questions, whatever they might be, have no bearing on me and have no bearing on this negotiated resolution. In other words, the deal you've negotiated is the deal you've negotiated, and that's the ballgame. Do you understand all that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Have you had enough time to talk to your lawyers about all that?
Yes, sir.
They've answered all your questions?
Yes, sir.
You're sure that that's what you want to do? Because I want to emphasize, Mr. Henry, and I'm going to do.
The judge said, I don't know how you pulled this off. How did you and your team of attorneys pull this off. It was a favor for a favor.
I'm about to say, I don't know how, yo, that nigga had, it wasn't 3. Flacco got it wrong. Nigga, he missed 2. It was 2 more. Nigga gave him 5 lives in 75 years. And then nigga got away with what, 10 or 15? Because he got the 10. He got the whatever credited. Then he got 6 of probation. I ain't gonna lie. I'll take the 6 of probation. At least you won't eat your own food and shit. If you got people around you that's gonna, it's gonna be just like prison and shit like that. But like, bro, it's, yeah, fuck that. At least you can eat your own food and shit like that. Watch your own TV. That shit crazy.
If you believe that they took 3 life sentences plus 75, and they got it down to 6 years because they wanted to be nice, you think they're not getting nothing in return? You're out of your mind. But the judge said, in your negotiated plea, you agree to do a proffer agreement where you sit down and tell them what you know in about a week. Just so you know, though, you already pled guilty. That will have no bearing on your sentence. But this was a favor for a favor. Hey, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And these street dudes nowadays, bro, these new age street dudes, yo, they the best rats you've ever met, bro. They are evolved rats. They're finding new way to snitch without getting caught. This proffer agreement is going to be him coming to sit down to tie up all the loose ends the prosecutors have been missing. All those questions they've been having have been burning a hole in their brain the last 4 years. He's about to answer those questions. What's the motive? Why did Melly want to kill these 2 people? That's been burning inside the prosecutor's brains for years. They can't seem to figure it out. He's about to let them know exactly why. Everything they need to know. And the proffer agreement is going to be sealed. They might not even use that proffer agreement in court. They might not even have him testify. But that proffer agreement and what he telling folks in a week is going to be used to put them on the right track. He don't have to come and testify towards the motive. He let them know, hey, man, yo, Melly and Sack Chaser, man, got into it, man, because Melly was smashing Sack Chaser's girlfriend. And now they can go to the girlfriend, get her phone, subpoena her, try to find out, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, yo, Melly was sleeping with her. Oh, my God. Now they got the information they need now. Or they say, hey, man, yo, this record label that y'all don't know about, they offer Melly like $10 million to sign. Sack Chaser told him, hey, I own Melly. Y'all can't sign it without. What? Really? Now they go to that label, get the contract. Now they can build a all he has to do is put them on the right track. And he can still play gangster when he come home. Because it's the proffer agreement. It's been sealed. Nobody has to know what he told them folks in that room. Kind of like Keefy D. When Keefy D did the proffer agreement where he told them folks everything. It was supposed to be sealed. It wasn't supposed to be released, but they released it and they leaked it.
You can choose to raid the caravan,
and that's the same thing that's probably going to happen. But either way, it's already getting shown that if he get put on that stand, and they already say he got a proffer agreement, and they already said in there he got to talk to them. It's already over.
As of now, as of this moment, didn't snitch yet. But that proffer agreement is in a week. You not telling me he about to go in that room and tell them folks, I'll plead the fifth. Plead the fifth for what? Plead the fifth for what? Like you already, no contest. Plead the fifth for, you already got your sentence. Oh, wait, hold on. He about to tell them folks, oh, I don't know. I didn't do it. I wasn't there. Nah, bruh. If you think he about to play in them folks' faces, man, nah, bro. Yo, Melly right now got a knot this big in his booty. He can't eat. He can't take a poop. He is constipated right now, bro. That's how stressed out he gotta be. Because Portland is the only one with the answers. Now, another thing that was very concerning is I'm not sure if you guys seen the email where they say, yo, Portland gotta be moved. His safety is at risk. He got that proffer agreement in a week. Given Mr. Henry's plea deal and proffer agreement, We request his deposition as soon as possible. Given the circumstances, we're concerned for his safety, so would like to facilitate it in the next 30 days. Please advise if you will continue to represent all of these diverse, conflicting defendants. What exactly in that plea deal you think will piss off YNW Melly or others so bad that they will want to do something to Portland? I don't know, bro. If I'm Melly, man, hey, man, beg your way to like a 20-year plea deal, bro. If I'm Melly, bro, at this point, bro, I ain't worried about no rap career, bro. I'm worried about my life and being free, bro. Hey, listen, man, take that 20-year plea deal, get out and get that CD out, Melly. Because if Portland tell them what they need to know, you is over with. You done. You cooked, bro. So y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think? All right? Do y'all believe that YNW Melly is in a world of trouble? Let me know. And if you're still...
I don't know, man. I got to do a lot more research on that, but that might be... Ooh. Yeah, it might be over with. That boy got either life, 5 lives in 75 or 6 years or 10 years, whatever the case may be. Come on now.